Proud of You is a parenting advice podcast and support group for dads hosted by two goofy dads. They are not pediatricians, nutritionists, OBGYNs, psychologists, nor are they authorities on parenting. They're just two dinguses trying to figure it all out. Their advice should not be taken as expert information. Parenting looks different for everyone, and there's no wrong way to be a dad. Frankly, if you're taking the time to listen to a podcast about it, you're already doing a great job. And these dads are proud of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Hey dads, it's Goody. Just popping in before the video starts here. Sorry that this one is coming to you a little bit late if you're watching this on the live feed. We had some technical difficulties with this episode, and without getting into all the details, the episode that you're about to listen to is the jumping off point for it was a TikTok that Derek's wife April posted. We referenced the TikTok several times throughout the episode. And for various reasons that I'm not going to go into, that TikTok has been taken down. So we mentioned that we would put it in the comments below or link to it so that you could get the frame of reference that we were working from. Unfortunately, that's not an option. So the gist of the TikTok was that April posted a TikTok stating that essentially just because she's Derek's wife doesn't mean that she takes care of him like his mother, right? She doesn't do his laundry, she doesn't clean his bathroom sink, and she doesn't want to be expected to cook for him. And people were incredibly rude about it and hateful and things. And her main point was she has a full-time job. It's not her full-time job to take care of him. And we wanted to have a conversation about managing expectations based around that premise. With that said, here's the episode. Sorry that we don't have the context for it.
Welcome back. I'm Derek Mata.
And I'm Andrew Goody, and we are proud of you. So I'm just gonna say it. Your wife posted a very interesting TikTok yesterday.
Yeah.
I'll throw it down in the comments below for our viewers to go check out.
It's gone over 1 million views at this point. It is probably one of the most controversial TikToks that could be made for, I don't only want to say married people, but people who live together intimately, not roommates, but
Couples.
You're in a relationship with the other person.
Yeah.
No, I said in a relationship intimately because some people, titles or whatever fucking bullshit,
Yeah.
And pretty much the context of it, and go watch it. Like listen to it in its entirety, because from what she has told me, a lot of people have listened to the first part of it and not the second part of it. So the first part of it just sounds like she's just whining and she doesn't want to be a good wife. That's what
always happens with long form like TikToks and stuff, is like if it's over 30 seconds, people are probably not watching all of it.
And that's what I was saying too. Like, it was probably a great information. I haven't watched it. I don't watch my wife's TikToks. I know she feels weird about it, so I don't do it. That's my own personal thing. But the first part is like, I don't do my husband's laundry, I don't pick up after him, and I don't clean his sink. They're all three very small things. Like, I don't care if she doesn't do these things. Like, if she does my laundry, I'm thankful for it. The second part of that everybody seems to not get to is that she's a full-time employee and a full-time mom at the same time. For two toddlers.
She is not just your stay-at-home trophy wife that cooks and cleans for you while you go and win the bread.
No, and another reason why I never expect her to do any of those things. Like, when we first got married, did she do my laundry and did she clean up after me? Sure, because it's those old ideals of a husband or a wife takes care of her husband. And then I started complaining, like, hey, I didn't have my, she didn't have time to do my work shirts or my work pants. And she's like, well, do your own damn laundry then. I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything else. So I might as well do my own damn laundry.
Yeah.
So
it's not necessarily the act itself, it's the expectation, right? Like, I'm sure that April doesn't, and I won't speak for her, but I imagine that April probably doesn't mind doing your laundry. Her issue is when you expect her to do your laundry for you, right? Because that's an old world, you know, I almost said matriarchy, old world patriarchy idea of like, which I would like to think that it comes from a mostly innocent place, right? Because it comes from a generation of people where when you got married as a woman, you stopped working. Like if you had a job before, which was uncommon, you stopped working and you stayed at home and you did the laundry and you cooked dinner and you raised the kids, and your husband went out and worked and took care of the financial side of life. And when you needed money to go shopping, you would ask him for money, and he would give you some cash because you didn't have access to your bank accounts or anything like that, right? And like, that's not the world that we live in. I mean, I'm sure there are still probably some couples out there who are living like that. And I'm also sure that there's a weird distortion of history that happens, right? Where like when we think about the 1950s, my brain assumes that like every woman was a stay-at-home housewife who was just,
I'm saying,
wearing a very beautiful dress with a full set of makeup and victory curls to sit around and pop Quaaludes and drink gin while their kids ran around the house. Like, like, whereas the reality is that probably was not what the middle class was doing back then either. We just have that idealized fantasy of what the past was.
Yeah. So, I mean, the comment section is very interesting for, like you said, share the TikTok. People watch the TikTok, please watch it in its entirety, read the comments, because everybody, I'll say, she said
the comments on that video are hilarious.
Yes. She said it is more split than people who can't decide on who to vote for. People don't know who they're left or right wing. People are more split in her comment section than people in politics.
Yeah.
And
well, I think, no, go ahead.
No. And it's, I don't want to say funny. That's not the right word. Like the shit people say because she doesn't want to do my laundry. I'm a grown ass fucking man. You know how I do my laundry? The way I was taught. I'm gonna throw everything in the goddamn washer.
Well, and I think that, like, again, I think a lot of it comes down to the difference between the act versus the expectation, right? Because like Emily is a stay-at-home mom, right? She doesn't have a job. I mean, she does. It's taking care of our house and my kids, but like that's her job, right? That's the arrangement that we have. And still, if I get up on Saturday morning and the laundry basket is full, I'll take it to the laundry room and start the load of laundry because it's not her job. It's our house. It's our laundry. We're a team. It happens to be that because I am the financial provider and I have a traditional job, she has more time and more access to doing those things than I do because she is at home with availability. I mean, I work from home most of the time too, but like she has more time and more available resources to be able to do laundry and clean during the day than I do. And so those tasks fall on her, but I never expect her to do laundry. If I don't have clean clothes, I'm not like, babe, what the fuck? Like, I would never.
Yeah. So when like back in the day when I was like, I don't have any clean pants, like it was more like, I don't want to go into this new job that I had just started, all of fucking 9 months ago, and wrinkled, because I was wearing slacks and shit, because that's what I owned, like with wrinkled slacks and a wrinkled shirt. And I'm like, you told me you were gonna do the laundry, and then that's when she's like, you do it yourself then. Obviously, not in that way. Like if she pretty much like, if I have a problem with it, then I am more than capable of doing it myself, honey. I'm not, if you take this the wrong way, I'm sorry, I don't mean it the wrong way. And so, then it became like, if I don't have clean clothes, I'm going to do my laundry because I know how. I'm a grown-ass fucking man. If I don't have clean clothes, that's on myself. And you know, it's one less thing for her to worry about. So good.
Yeah,
Now she
totally.
doesn't have to worry about that shit anymore. But again, and her videos and her comments, like if she needs more clothes to make a full load, then she'll do my laundry. Or if she's just like, you know what, I took up the washer all yesterday because I was washing towels and kids clothes. Well, you have one, but kids somehow change 5 times a day but wear the same outfit all day.
Yeah.
um sometimes you just, the washer's used all day. Like she has done my laundry because like I know I took it up because X, Y, and Z. It's like, I appreciate it. I would plan on doing it today, but thank you so much for doing that. And I tell her that I'm super appreciative of it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the difference is again, it's not, you don't expect her to do your laundry. And frankly, like, I think that's a good way to live as a couple is without those expectations. Unless as a couple you have decided that certain things are allocated, right? And some people like that. Some people want to have that, like, you handle this, I handle this. And Emily and I definitely have that in aspects of our relationship. Like, I don't mop the floors in our house. I maybe done it once in the 3 years that we've lived in this home. I do not mop. And like things that I do is like I change all of our air filters, right? Because like we have obviously our air conditioning. We live in Arizona; it's running 24/7. That intake filter needs to be changed every 2 to 3 months or so.
2 or 3 days.
we also have air purifiers because the air quality in Phoenix is terrible, and so those filters need to be like not changed, but we clean them off and everything, and make sure that all of the dust and the buildup on the pre-filters is cleaned off every month. And I change the actual filter itself every 6 months. And we were talking about it the other day, and like I was joking because I had let the intake filter go for a while. I'm like, man, I'm sorry that was so like kind of gross and backed up. She was like, honestly, I don't even ever look at that because I just have full, like, that's your thing. I have full confidence in you that you're going to take care of that. And like, if it was dirty and gross, I didn't even notice because I don't look at like our intake filter is on the ceiling and she doesn't look up there because I take care of it,
Hey, what's going on?
And like similarly, like I never really pay attention to when the last time the floors got mopped was because that's a thing that Emily takes care of,
Yeah, it's
but because of that, because we don't have that expectation, if I were to mop the floors, she would be so appreciative, right? Like it would be like a treat, like a special thing. Just like if April did your laundry, I'm sure you'd be like really appreciative of that, and it would be a kindness that she was doing a thing for you, rather than that just falling flat of like, yeah, of course she did my laundry. I expect her to do my laundry.
No, I
she's my woman.
Which sadly, there are a lot of men in those comments that are like, I would kick you out of the house. You would sleep on the porch. Well,
misogynists in America?
Yeah, what?
Unheard of.
You'd never be my woman if that's how you acted. Like, again, they missed the second part of that. Where like, I am a full-time work from home, but she works a full-time job like you and I do. It's not some MLM, OnlyFans, fucking feet finder, fucking bullshit. Actual company.
Hey man, those are all real jobs too. People put in work in different ways.
No, I'm
like,
not.
I'm just saying, man. Like, regardless, even if she was like, again, my wife is a full-time stay-at-home mom. She does not have a big girl job, if you will. She does not have an office job or a corporate job. And I would never like kick her out of the house for not doing my laundry or like shame her or frankly expect that of her.
Yeah, like, and some people,
because I'm not a misogynist scumbag.
Yeah, and one of the things is like, oh, I clean up after my husband. I couldn't tell you the last time my wife cleaned up after me. Like, okay, maybe if, and we were talking about it last night. Like, yeah, maybe if I like left a wrapper or an empty package of something on the counter, meaning to throw into the trash can, that's a foot away, and I completely spaced because the kids needed something or whatever. But some of these women are like, oh, I clean up after my husband because when he gets home, he leaves a trail of trash behind him, of snack wrappers and this and that. I'm like, what kind of nasty ass fucking husband do you have that he's not grown enough to clean up his own fucking snack mess? His fucking fruit snacks over there. Mom, can I have some fruit snacks? Clean up my mess. Like,
yeah,
they would put that shit in your pocket, put it in a trash can. Like, my wife doesn't clean up after me. The worst I do is my nightstand has a couple of cans, a couple of bottles every so often, depending on what I'm drinking,
Yeah.
or some old
Well,
mail I haven't thrown in the trash yet.
and I'm sure that, you know, when those things happen, like if you leave an empty Coke bottle on your nightstand or something, and April is going through and cleaning up you guys' bedroom, and she's already taking trash from her side to the trash can, she'll probably grab that and clean it up. But that's very different than like the dystopian Wall-E ass world that you're describing of just garbage falling everywhere. And again, being sloppy because you know that your wife will clean it up, right? Because let's be real, that's what that is, right?
That's mom will pick up after me. Mom will clean up after me. My wife is not my mother. I did not marry my mother. That shit's gross.
Yeah.
Like, so I clean up after myself. I'm not the most perfect person. More like I said, I've got shit on the nightstand. I'll leave shit on the counters every so often, but like, I'm not throwing, you know, empty beer bottles on the floor or fucking snack wrappers on the floor or leaving them all over the table or whatever. Like, no, because again, grown man, I clean. My wife is not expected to clean up after me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and some of the funny, like some of the comments are like traditional trad wives. I guess they're called trad wives.
Yeah.
Which I don't like the term, but whatever. That's not my thing. Like, cool. If you're into that, if you feel like you were put on this earth to serve your husband, fucking more power to you. I am not shitting on you, but don't shit on somebody else because their thoughts don't align with yours, because they only heard her side of the story. It is something her and I have discussed long before and we're okay with. Like, again, I don't expect my wife to do these things. Does she cook? Yes. I told her I would cook. I enjoy cooking more than she does. I don't expect her to cook. She just does it.
Yeah. Well, and again, part of that is availability of time, right? Like you're working in an office away from home. She is working the same hours that you work at a company, but because she works from home, she has a lot more immediate availability to make dinner than you do because she's not commuting back from that job, right? And so like that creates availability. Also, I think that's just one of the things that like couples tend to fall into. Like, you know, we talked about like having conversations about like, I do this and you do that. I think also after you live with a person for a while, you do just kind of start to fall into routines where it's like, hey, like Monday through Friday, Emily cooks, and Saturday and Sunday I cook. And we never really like talked about that. And that's not usually actually how it works in my house. I'm just throwing it out there as an example. But like, you know, like you kind of fall into those routines and patterns and stuff. And it's just one of those things that like, hey, it works. So this is what we do because it works for us. I always encourage people to have conversations about those things because you never know if the thing that you've been doing forever because it works is actually bugging the shit out of your partner, right? like maybe April would like you to cook more. And you guys have just never talked about it. I know. I'm again, broad example, but like, I don't know, man. You were on a tear there where you were making burgers like twice a week for a while, and
because I was trying to perfect it, and now I did, and she loves them.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were all enjoying it, mostly because you kept inviting me over for burgers.
Yeah, and I have perfected it. And she said it would be, if she had one final meal, if she was on death row, it would be that made by me.
It's just because I've never cooked for her before, but it's fine.
Yeah, you did when we first moved in. You brought some.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Quit lying to people.
But yeah, but like having those conversations, because there is stuff that like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like specific examples of things that Emily and I've had issues with in the past, but we've kind of like, we've been together for 10 years and we've kind of worked out most of the kinks in our relationship. And like a lot of that is because we're still working on those things and we have transparent communication all the time. Do that. Talk to your wife always. But your like
significant other.
Yeah. Talk to your partner, whoever you're with. Like, and frankly, this goes for roommates too. Like, even if you're in a non-romantic relationship, I personally don't think you should live with somebody unless you're in a romantic relationship with them. But like, that's a privilege not everybody has. I think that actual roommates are the shittiest thing in the world. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like, we're about to fucking add a third person to our marriage just to afford rent. So,
Yeah.
like it's 2024, man. The economy justifies having extra roommates, but point being, if you live with somebody, like talk about that stuff, because you never know. Like maybe when you get home, you take off your shoes and you put them next to the bench at the door, because that's where you've always put them. And the entire time that you've been living with the person, whether it's your roommate or your wife or your husband or your partner or whatever, hates that your shoes are there, but doesn't hate it enough to say anything, but it just kind of bugs them and is under their skin. Like you'll never know that it's bothering them unless you ask and have those conversations and talk about it, right?
No, it's conversations are hard. We've mentioned it before. Like it's like you have an open mind. That's after she's read a lot of those comments to me and the conversations we've had since. Like so many people are closed-minded, and it's actually kind of sad. Like you never know what somebody else is thinking. You never know how much it drives somebody else nuts. You never know when you're like, hey, you know what? Like, I do want to help my significant other out. I will start doing my own laundry, plus the kids' laundry, plus I do not do my wife's laundry because women's laundry is way more difficult than men's laundry. And I've told her this, and she told me, do not touch my laundry. And I'm like, okay.
It depends. It depends on the laundry, but yes, especially when it comes to like if you have a partner who wears a lot of silk or linen or lace or anything, yeah, you can straight up destroy. I actually, when Emily and I were first dating, it was like within the first, I don't know, probably 2 months of us living together, I destroyed a skirt that she had because I washed and dried it in the machine with a load of laundry, and it was not the kind of skirt that you could do that with. I can't even remember what it was made out of, but I remember it was just shreds by the time it came out of the dryer. And I was like, sorry, babe.
Yeah, like, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, because like I said earlier, I'll take my laundry hamper and I just dump it into the fucking washer. Yeah. Pants, underwear, shirts, I don't give a fuck.
Well, and for we're going to start stereotyping here, but the average typical American male, a lot of your clothes are just going to be cotton. You're wearing jeans and t-shirts and cotton underwear. Like there's only so much you can fuck that up.
But watch me.
yeah. Well, and like, I mean, I don't really sort out my laundry too drastically, mostly because like machines these days, if you've got a nice laundry machine and you've got a decent detergent that you're using that's not super harsh, and you're not like adding bleach to anything, you don't really need to separate your lights and your darks. You don't need to sort out. I don't know. I'm not going to tell people how to do laundry.
No, I got
it's laundry, man. Like it's not. It doesn't need to be that complicated. But like, you know, Emily and I have kind of like, again, like it's not an I do my laundry, she does her laundry, or I do the laundry, or she does the laundry. Like we have laundry, and whoever does it, and sometimes it's me, and sometimes it's her, and it really just comes down to whoever notices that the basket is full enough to start running a load. But like, she has some stuff that doesn't get machine washed or gets washed but doesn't get dried. And I have some stuff like that too. That's like shirts that I will throw in the washer, but I'll pull out before they dry, and I'll line dry them, or I'll hang dry them or whatever. And they're just
you like fancy shit. Like again, I go to Goodwill and I buy my shit.
But the general rule of thumb is like, hey, if it's in the laundry bin, it's just getting tossed in the wash. Like it's not getting sorted out. So like we have a separate area for like we basically have 2 laundry bins, and it's like if Emily wears like a t-shirt, it gets thrown in with all of my t-shirts and jeans and bullshit, and it all gets dumped in there. If she wears like a silk kimono somewhere, it doesn't end up in that basket.
Own a silk kimono?
No.
Oh, damn it. I was like, man, that's awesome.
I was just trying to think of like the least machine washable thing that I could think of.
God, I was like, damn, I need one of those.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're focusing a lot on laundry, but
Yeah, well, I mean, that was the crux of it. But
That was the big point of it. But like again, this is the 21st century. This is 2024. Like my wife and I have a very healthy relationship. We have our fights. We will always have our fights. That's marriage. But we kind of know. Okay, like, this is not the fucking 80s
no. I
sitcoms.
feel you.
Like the balance of the scale's gonna tip a little bit here and there over the years, but like maybe one day she's like, you know what, I am tired of cooking, you fucking do it, and I'm gonna be like, okay, cool, great. If I get a high enough paying job and I retire her and make her not work anymore, am I gonna expect her to do my laundry still? No, like, because I did it so she can spend more time with the kids. Like at no point is my wife ever expected to do anything for me other than to be there for me when I need her, be a great mother to my children, and to love me unconditionally.
Yeah, the only thing that I expect from my wife is partnership. Like, I expect her to talk to me and to be honest with me and to, frankly, we're both grown-ass adults. The thing that I expect from my wife is if something bothers her, tell me. Like, right? Like that's my expectation. And that actually created some problems in Emily and I's relationship early on because she, for various reasons, had some negative examples of communication. And like, she was kind of passive aggressive about stuff and like, would just be like, no, it's fine. And like, I take people at face value, man. Like,
yeah, you tell me it's fine. Cool. I'm off to something else.
I'm a very intelligent person. I know it's not fine, but you're an adult. And if you tell me that it's fine, then I'm going to treat it like it's fine until you tell me otherwise. And like that created some tension between us because there were things where she's like, do you just not care? And I was like, you said it was okay. If it is okay, then no, I don't care. If it's not okay, tell me it's not okay. And then we'll talk about it because I do care. I care if that thing bothers you, but you explicitly told me, I asked you and you said it didn't bother you. I'm not going to play games and try to figure out what no, it's fine means.
Like, yeah, I'm
going to hold you accountable for the words that came out of your mouth and take you as an honest person.
Because she's in her 30s, right?
Yeah, she just turned 30.
Okay, so like we're all 30s, like we're not getting any younger. Like life is hard. Let's not make it any harder.
Yeah,
I'll ask April 5 times in one sitting. Like, are you sure? Like, I know, we've been married long enough, almost 6 years. Next month, 6 years after 6 weeks of dating. Like I'm like I know that I'm fine doesn't mean that, and I push and push and push until either she says no, I'm tired, or no, I have a headache, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Like I tried, I pushed and I tried. Not every time, but a lot of times I pry until I get something.
Yeah, I mean, I respect that in a fashion. It's not who I am, man. I don't play that game. Like I won't keep prying. Like because
I asked you once, I want an answer now.
Well, no, I mean if I asked you a question and you gave me an answer, then whether I know that you're lying or not, I'm just going to take you at your word because we're adults and we can have that communication. Like if you say it's cool, then it's cool. And if it's not cool, then bring it up. But I'm not going to keep diving to try to fix a problem that you're just intensifying by not talking about.
Yeah, makes sense. But that's a topic for a different time because like
totally for sure. But yeah, I mean it's like we talked about. It all comes down to managing those expectations, right? And understanding like maybe there are expectations in your relationship, right? But know what is expected and know what's not, and know what it's cool to expect of somebody and what's not, right? Because like based on this, I know that April would not want you to expect her to do your laundry, right? Like, and knowing that is important because if you didn't know that, you're going to make an ass out of yourself.
Yeah, or create more tension between the two of us, or any couples. Like husbands, ask or husbands, baby daddies, whatever. Ask your fucking wives or girlfriends or whatever the fuck you want to call them. Like, hey, does this bother you? Even if it's like, because maybe it's kind of like they did it out of the kindness of their own heart and now it's expected, but now they resent you. And that is going to cause an issue later when it becomes, I do this, and this, and all you do is come home and drink a beer and watch sports and ignore me. Like, one small thing can make the world of difference.
Yeah, totally. One, and just showing that extra level of compassion and care, right? That you do care if they're bothered. You do care if you're doing something that's upsetting them, or if they're feeling uneven in the relationship, right? Like one of you is doing more work, or if that's the way that they feel about it, right? I found a lot of the time that when you feel like you're doing more work in a relationship, the other person often feels that way too, right? Like, because you don't see what your partner is carrying. You don't know what their mental load is unless you have those conversations and you talk about it. And you say like, hey, I feel like I'm doing more around the house than you are, and I'd love if you could, pick up these things instead of me. And hey, maybe that's going to set off a fight and be a conversation that turns into, well, I feel like you're not doing anything and this and this. And you can talk through like, hey, this is what I do. This is what you do. What would you like me to take on? How can we balance it out so that we can feel good about this,
So yeah, sometimes the fight needs to happen, because I will say that April and I have had many fights, and she pretty much has pointed out that like, you don't do anything. Like, things have changed since then. And because of that fight that happened, I was like, oh shit, like I really don't do anything. And it made me feel bad.
Yeah.
Granted, I still don't carry the amount of weight she does. I will never say that we are equals, because again, she works from home full time while caring for 2 toddlers full time, while keeping the house in order full time. Like, yeah, she's got me fucking beat every single fucking day. So sometimes a fight needs to be had just so you realize that, like, wait a second, I'm really not carrying my weight around. I may be bringing home the bread, but like, that only goes so far in today's society. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes your significant other needs some time, or needs you to take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, like play with the kids, cook the dinner, do the laundry. Like, it's a lot. It is a lot. Every time I have to work from home for a week and take care of these kids and do the laundry and feed them, I'm like, I have more respect for my wife when she does it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's a really cool ability to put yourself in your partner's shoes and look at it and be like, oh shit, she does a lot of work. Like, not that you don't know that every single day when you're at work and April's at home taking care of the kids, but like, because she's been traveling and stuff for work, and you've had to be the one at home and working and watching the kids, like, it's a lot. You see firsthand just how much that is, right?
Yeah, and every time I'm like, hey, we should do, or the kids should XYZ, and she kind of gives me that look, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, it's easier said than done, because if I was in her shoes as I am, this week, like, hey, the kids can't have any TV or Switch this week, and I'm like, but if I have to do something, if I have to be on the phone, it's a lot easier for them to be in front of that TV so I can focus on my job. So like, hey, I'm going to enforce this rule, but by the way, I'm out of here. Good luck. Like, it's just like, I realize it now. And I know a lot of people don't have that opportunity to work from home, to see kind of how their spouse lives, but like, they just try to put yourself about it.
You can, And
send your significant other away for a weekend and be like, totally. All right, now you have to do what they do.
I will make the argument all day, every day, that regardless of any other factors, whoever works or doesn't work, or does laundry or doesn't do laundry, or cleans or doesn't clean, or cooks or doesn't cook, whoever is the like primary parent who does the majority of the child rearing in your relationship works the hardest.
Yes.
Like, Emily is a stay-at-home mom, and I work a corporate job, and she undoubtedly works harder than I do, because she is raising a child full-time, and that is the hardest job anybody will ever do. Like, period.
Because they don't know what they want. They want you to figure out what they want. But once you do that, they don't want that anymore.
Well, and it comes and goes in phases too, right? Because like, having an infant is a lot easier than having a toddler, and having an older child is easier, or at least different It has different struggles than having a toddler. The phase of life that we're in right now, with me having a toddler and you having two toddlers, it's hectic and crazy. And whoever is responsible for that toddler is negotiating with a terrorist full time while they're doing whatever else they're doing.
Right. So anybody who watches, I am going to post her TikTok. I'm going to post this video as a separate post. Okay. Yeah. I want anybody listening or watching, watch that video before you listen or watch this episode. Because I actually want to know what people think. Tear me apart. I don't give a shit. Like this is, again, so it is over 1 million views. It had, yesterday when she sent me the thing, it had like 1,200 comments on it, and it's probably doubled since then.
Yeah, it's one of those things that they're so snowballs out, right, when people see it, because it's so polarizing.
Yeah, like I would love to hear what people think. Like, am I wrong? What do you, as dads, as husbands, as fathers, like, what do you expect? Like, are you willing to open your eyes to the fact that, hey, you're a grown man and you can clean up here after yourself and you can do your own laundry? Like, hear it from both sides. You have my wife's side and you have my side now. Fucking do it. Do your research.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I think it'll be interesting to see what people say watching the whole video, right? Because I think that's something that happens on social media a lot, and we see it a little bit with even our content is, people will start a piece of media, whether it happens most with short form content, I think, but people will start watching a thing and everybody has their preconceived notions, right? Everybody has their expectations that they carry with them because of what they've known through life and everything. And they'll listen to 10 seconds of a thing and form an opinion of what that means. And then they'll post a comment and move along. When if they had listened 30 seconds more, there's a whole other half of that video where April talks about some of the why behind. It's not just she doesn't do your laundry because she doesn't feel like it. Like there's more to it than that, right?
Yeah.
And
that's what people need to see.
For the record, I don't feel like it is a perfectly good reason for her to not do your laundry as well.
She's tired. She wants to fucking enjoy her life as it is while she's still young. Like, go for it, dear. You do what you do.
You're a grown-ass man and can do your own laundry is a perfectly good reason for your wife to not do your laundry.
That's right.
I love it, man. Well, go watch that TikTok. Like Derek said, we'll throw it up on our feed and on our TikTok account. We'll repost April's video. I'll drop the link down in the comments below as well for our podcast listeners and for everybody on YouTube as well, so you don't have to go back and find it. And let us know. Tell us what you think. Tell us where why we're wrong, why April's wrong.
She's not.
What's tell us your opinions. With the good, the bad, the ugly, we always want to hear.
That's right.
Sounds good. Well, until next week, I'm Andrew Goody.
And I'm Derek Mata.
And we are proud of you.